Take a look at the back of your smartphone, your laptop, or the charger plugged into your wall. For the last 20 years, almost every piece of technology that defines our modern lives has carried the exact same three words: assembled in China. It was the ultimate symbol of globalization, an unbreakable partnership between Western design and Eastern manufacturing efficiency. But if you buy a new device today, you might notice something strange. That famous phrase is quietly disappearing. Welcome to InEssence. Right now, behind closed doors in Cupertino, Seoul, and Tokyo, the biggest tech companies on Earth are panicking. They're orchestrating one of the largest, most expensive industrial migrations in human history. They are packing up multi-billion-dollar factories and desperately fleeing the factory of the world. Today, we are going to look at the macroeconomic shockwave known as friendshoring, why the tech industry is abandoning China, and why this geopolitical divorce is going to make your next smartphone significantly more expensive. To understand why this exodus is so catastrophic, you first have to understand why tech giants went to China in the first place. It wasn't just about cheap labor. That is a myth. By the 2010s, China had built an ecosystem that simply did not exist anywhere else on the planet. Cities like Shenzhen became hyper-specialized mega hubs. If Apple wanted a new custom screw for the iPhone, they didn't have to wait 3 weeks for it to be shipped across the ocean. They could just walk down the street to a factory that produced 10 million of those exact screws a day. China offered scale, speed, and a flawless logistics network. They cornered the market on rare earth minerals, the essential ingredients for batteries and camera lenses. For hardware companies, China was an absolute paradise, a supply chain utopia. So they put all their eggs in one basket. By 2020, nearly 95% of all iPhones, iPads, and MacBooks were manufactured inside Chinese borders. But in economics, there is a golden rule. Efficiency is the enemy of resilience. When you optimize a system to be perfectly efficient, you strip away its ability to survive a shock. That shock arrived in 3 brutal waves. First came the US-China trade war. Suddenly, moving components across the Pacific became a political weapon. Heavy tariffs meant that assembling a device in China was suddenly wiping out profit margins. Second, the global pandemic exposed the fatal flaw of relying on a single country. When major Chinese factory hubs went into lockdown, the entire global tech industry ground to a halt. Apple lost an estimated $1 billion a week because they simply could not get iPhones onto cargo ships. And finally, the geopolitical temperature reached a boiling point. The growing friction between the US and China over Taiwan, which produces 90% of the world's most advanced microchips, made corporate executives realize something terrifying. If a serious conflict broke out, their entire business model would evaporate overnight. The era of globalization, where you simply build your product wherever labor is cheapest, is officially dead. Welcome to the era of friendshoring. Friendshoring is a macroeconomic strategy where companies only manufacture goods in countries that are political allies, or at least geopolitically neutral. They are willing to pay higher production costs in exchange for security and peace of mind. Apple is aggressively moving iPhone production to India, partnering with manufacturing giants like Foxconn and Tata Group. Samsung and Google have poured billions of dollars into turning Vietnam into the new global capital for smartphone and wearable assembly. Meanwhile, servers, electric vehicle components, and heavy electronics are moving to Mexico, a concept known as nearshoring, keeping production right on the US border. But untangling a 20-year-old supply chain is a logistical nightmare. You can't just build a factory and expect it to work. You need roads, power grids, trained engineers, and a network of thousands of smaller suppliers. India and Vietnam are growing fast, but they do not yet have the flawless, frictionless ecosystem that Shenzhen had. And that friction, it comes with a massive price tag. When tech giants are forced to duplicate their supply chains, building one factory in India for the global market and keeping another in China just for the domestic market, their capital expenditures skyrocket. They are spending hundreds of billions of dollars just to reorganize. In the corporate world, those costs are never absorbed by the executives or the shareholders. They are passed directly down to the consumer. The next time you go to upgrade your phone, laptop, or camera gear, you are going to notice a steady, creeping increase in the baseline price. You are no longer just paying for the processor, the glass, and the battery. You are paying a hidden geopolitical tax. You are paying for the cost of moving the factory. For 2 decades, we enjoyed a golden age of cheap, highly advanced electronics, powered by an alliance that we thought would last forever. But the world has fractured, and as the Made in China sticker fades away, the price of our digital lives is only going to go up. Thank you for watching InEssence. If this deep dive changed the way you look at the tech in your pocket, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Let me know in the comments, do you check where your devices are manufactured? I'll see you in the next analysis.